Hey dudes, welcome back to another episode of our Rhomas Men's Team podcast. You are about to listen to one of our prior team meetings. If you ever want to join one of our live sessions that we have every Monday and Friday, head over to rhomas.com. That's RHOMAS.com and put your email in and we will send you a live link every time we record. We generally record on Mondays and Fridays. So if you ever want to be on the actual podcast, like we bring men up all the time to talk about their goals, talk about their obstacles, etc., head over to rhomas.com. And then also, if you want to help support the channel grow and also have access to exclusive content, book reviews, extra whiteboard sessions, etc., and some coaching sessions, head over to patreon.com and support us. We would love it. But if not, no biggie. We'll see you on the live sessions. Later, dudes. Enjoy this podcast.
Sorry about that. The internet completely crapped out because I was on my third floor. Oh boy, here we go. My bad. Yeah, I had to just run from the third floor and get everything all set up. Whenever it rains over here, the water comes in through my basement. It's super loud and annoying.
You got Cricket Wireless, bro? Is that what's going on over there?
I was on my third floor, so I was on an extender. And dude, it's so annoying because like the extender works. I've been on the third floor a couple times. But if my dogs bump it, they'll like knock it slightly out of the wall, and then it just, So sorry about that.
Troy was pissed.
I bet he was, and I would be pissed too.
ASB's coming over and just got Delco Jim involved too.
Although I will say that was a bit of a I probably won't get credit. It's a bit of a SEAL Team 6 setup, dude. Third floor to the basement that fast. I mean, I like that, man. My dog tried to come back down here, and glad I wasn't on camera spazzing on him.
Oh, so Ray just asked me while you were gone. I was talking about Jordan Peterson and just saying that Jordan Peterson's back. I'm super thankful for that. But one of the things we can still hear you.
One
of the things about Jordan Peterson that I absolutely love is that he's not trying to be some sort of some fake guru, and he's just trying to give you sort of a narrative of what life is like, and especially what life is like trying to make progress and how difficult that is. Whereas like your standard quote guru is trying to paint this picture of instant gratification and I don't know, for some reason it's turned me off. And no offense if anybody listens to those guys, because I do think they're helpful. Whether it be whoever, I'm not going to name names, but I just like that Jordan Peterson talks about both sides of the coin. And in fact, I think he even sort of takes a bias more towards the negative side of the coin. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. And yeah, ASB saying the rise of Jordan Peterson is a reflection of lack of father figures and strong masculine values. And absolutely, you're 100% right, dude. Honestly, that's why Matt and I started this. And like, not to get real weird about it, but like one of the original things that when I went to Matt, I said, I want to do this because I didn't have a father figure around. And I didn't get to have all these conversations. I kind of had to figure stuff out with a natural feminine bias, because that's where I was getting my information from, which was my mom, essentially. So all these conversations, I mean, even between the nuances of how do you date a girl, how do you do it respectfully, but how do you do it with still a masculine energy? So it's as weird as that sounds, these conversations are super helpful, I think, to men in general, but especially to me, because a lot of these conversations I just didn't have when I was growing up. So Matt, welcome back, brother.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and sorry about all that. That was super fucking annoying. Yeah, man. I think it's kind of like, I don't know if it's like how to exactly put your finger on it, but I do think we made I think people kind of move in like humongous push between like polar opposites, and I think it goes back to like the 1950s of like. And I could be wrong, but it was like, we were pretty full tilt on, I guess, like what you could call the masculine energy, like just nuclear bombs and shit, and like dropping them on people, and that was just it. And then people rightfully were like, this is kind of crazy. Let's but whenever people adjust on a massive level, it's always to another extreme, and I think we went too far into another extreme. And now we're trying to like gain some equilibrium. So that's what I think this is about, where it's like, you don't have to buy into this whole idea. Like, guys typically do stuff that they think, especially when they're younger. There's like, you're just a dude. You're walking around. You're like, oh my God, I don't want to be ostracized or outed of whatever group I'm in. And then like, people kind of go along with whatever society's saying. And right now, society is being like, be a very, very soft kind of, somewhat effeminate dude, and that's what's cool right now. Like it's just, for as far as I've seen, that's kind of what it is. And like if you watch like the the popular stories, the stuff going on right now on like Netflix and everything, and if there is somebody who's not that, they're typically portrayed as evil, which is fine. But I do think it kind of, you try to be like the cool kind of like uber sensitive type, and it just over the course of years, you're like, all right, well, I need to get some stuff done. So I think it's more so about like learning how to channel the different parts of ourselves, not trying to act like certain parts of ourselves don't exist, whether that's the aggressive side or your sensitive side, and just, again, like figuring out what you want to do and, going for it.
I think to suppress your testosterone is a massive mistreatment of the natural gift that you've been given. That produces a certain amount of independence, a certain amount of aggression, a certain amount of activity and energy. And saying that doesn't exist, or pretending like it doesn't exist, like you're saying, Matt, is I think it's a complete fail on society's part. We need to be taught how to channel that. Yes, obviously, right? There's clearly ways of using that incorrectly, but there are phenomenal ways of using it correctly. I can tell you an example. Like I've got some family who had my uncle passed away, and now the wife and the people living in that house, it's just mayhem. It's absolutely mayhem, because the male brought that masculine energy, and it's like, no, you're not going to do these things. And I actually wrote down some Jordan Peterson stuff. I'm re-listening to Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules for Life. And he said, I brought this up, he said something awesome about no. He said, the word no, it's only effective in the presence of ultimate punishment if not complied with. Quote, a woman can say no to a powerful narcissistic man only because she has social norms, the law, and the state backing her up. What no means in the final analysis is always, if you continue to do something, you will not like what will happen to you. Otherwise, it means nothing. And I think, obviously, and that's just the example that he used in the book. But when I look back at my uncle when he was alive, it was exactly that. Like he had the strength to say no, even to like the little smaller things that dip a family into chaos. And that's, I think, as men, we need to know how to use the word no, but more importantly, we need to know how to use our testosterone effectively.
Yeah, and dude, again, that book, where is it again? Shit. I think it was just, The New Manhood or something, but I forget what it was called, by Stephen Biddulph. He had a point in there that it was like women had the whole women's revolution where like women were a thing, they had the ways women did things was kind of dictated by society. And, at one point women were like, no. And they kind of reinvented themselves, in certain lights, for better or for worse, however you think about it. But they definitely massively they had a, a huge kind of rethinking and reorganization of like how they interact with the world. Whereas men haven't really had that yet. If I, not in a way that A, was as organized, or B, that's like, could be agreed upon. I feel like in the book, they talk about how men are just kind of like very confused, because it's like, there's like a generation before you is kind of like, stop being a pussy, shut up. Don't ever talk about anything that's somewhat emotional. Otherwise, like, you just don't do that at all. And then there's like this, this new era of coming in of like, whatever, of just like, just trying to like let everything go and being like, I just want to be nice and harmless. And there's people I feel like who are trapped in the middle of it, being like, I don't like either one, but like, how do I blend the two? And that's kind of what the whole book's about.
Well, and not, I don't know if Troy wants attention drawn to this, so I apologize, Troy, if that's it, but I want to bring up a point that you just made in the comments. You said it didn't help that his dad was sauced up until 18. And dude, like, I will never judge anybody for drinking, any of you guys for drinking, but like, I can't help myself in saying, just strongly consider not drinking at all, or just tying it off at one. Because Troy, the amount of men's lives and females' lives that I've seen completely ruined because particularly the father was drinking. And Troy, I'm glad to see you said he's 6 years sober, and that's awesome, man. But I just dealt with a situation last night. Mom and dad split up, and now dad's on alcohol, and it's just destroying the entire family dynamic, right? Like they already got divorced because of that reason, from my understanding, and now the kids are involved. And it's just crazy. Like, just dumb shit starts to happen, like I think like the house caught on fire because the guy left something in the oven or something like that because he was drunk. Like all like 4, 5, 6 things back to back to back. And honestly, I feel bad for the guy. It's like society told him that was okay and he could handle it up until the chaos of something happened. I forget what happened, but it was like 10 years ago or whatever. And then all of a sudden, right, the thing that you could handle, alcohol, that alcohol is extremely powerful, man. It just breaks apart so much. I think the cost benefit analysis is pretty clear. Not that I'm judging anybody for doing it, but I'll always stand for you guys and saying, hey man, if you need somebody to support you of like not doing that shit, like you got my 100% backing.
Well, it's also, they should honestly breathalyze people for microwavable pizzas purchased after like 11 p.m. I lived in a house where I was in constant danger of people falling asleep with pizzas in the oven. And it was like, dude, I swear to God, it's like, when you said what, I was like, yeah, that happens constantly, dude. And it's like, dude, alcohol, it has the massive okay by society, but if you just forget that and if you stack that up against all the other drugs, it's physically addictive. Yes. What else is physically addictive? Xanax and heroin. Dude, it's fucking nasty, dude. And again, it's fun. Like I said, I've learned, I used to not be able to, I mean, I could drink, but I would just drink like so much, blackout. And then I've got to the point now where, I can have like 1 or 2 drinks, but I genuinely go like, ugh, after like 2, I'm like, that's enough. But dude, it can wreck shit so bad, especially if there's already kind of like, stuff not being, dude, the problem with it is, it's like, we all kind of get to this point, whenever, however many times a week or a day or whatever, depending on the situation, where you're just kind of like stuck in your body and you're overwhelmed and you go like, God, I can't take this feeling, and it's like, typically right at that point, you'll start doing things that, whether it's lashing out on people, you might start calling people, which isn't a bad thing, like call people to talk to them. But everyone gets to that point and it's like, can you sit in that and just let that ride out? Or does that launch you into some sort of behavior? So for like 98% of people, just because we're never really taught anything else, it's like that launches us into some sort of avoidant behavior. And if alcohol becomes your release to like life problems, it's like the worst thing, because you're emotionally volatile, you're upset, and then you drink, you get kind of soothed. But then like, dude, you think about a whole family being built on this, and I've seen this before, like the whole family dynamics built on like repression and then alcoholism. And then it's just like, dude, the fucking flare-ups that come out of that are so fucking bad, because you have people who are repressing. All of their judgments are kind of like thrown off and it's just like, boom, it's a fucking nightmare.
Oh no, man. I think we've seen, especially where you and I are from in Philadelphia. I mean, it's weird to not do it. Yeah. Like every time I go home and somebody says, hey, want a beer? I say, no, I don't drink. They look at me like I've got four heads. It's crazy. But I mean, again, no judgment. But if you guys, I will always stand for that, because I've just seen way too much devastation come from it. And actually, Jordan Peterson, who's that guy? Who's that comedian who had a mullet? Is it Theo?
Theo Vaughn, yeah.
Yeah. So I watched an interview with him and Jordan Peterson. I think they did it a while ago. But Jordan Peterson breaks down alcoholism, and the guy is such a beast drinking alcohol, because he was talking about, he's like, alcohol is really fun. He's like, that's the thing about it. He's like, that's what people, need to acknowledge. It's like, it's a great time. He's like, so what you need to do is make the alternative better, right? Yeah. So make the alternative more adventurous and more whatever you're seeking out of that alcohol. And I thought that was a great synopsis of why not to do it, despite the fact that it's an awesome time. Because I think that's what happens is, like, even when we're talking about, it's like, oh, it's devastating, all these things. It's like, yeah, but the reason that you're willing to take that on is because it's an awesome time, and then eventually you get addicted.
Well, dude, I mean, it's again, to me, it has to be more of if it's going to be in your life, it has to be a supplement. Like this is just me again, but like a celebratory thing. I think it's great for like weddings, or if you're on vacation. And this is just my views, but I get a lot of people hitting me up about psychedelics constantly, and it's like, I think they're great, I think they're wonderful, but I had someone message me today like, yeah, man, you got to like, so I've talked about microdosing them before, and people are like, you got to bump that up to a macro dose, and it's like again, I have nothing against them at all. I think they're wonderful, but I do think where they can hang people up is people won't work on their basics and then be like, I'm just going to go eat like a handful of mushrooms and figure out all my problems. And it's like, no, you're not, dude. You might think you do. I've done this myself when I was younger. You're like, oh my God, I figured it all out. Give it 6 months. You'll be right back. And you're like, why is nothing working for me? Why? And it's because you don't have the fundamentals down. So that's like, I think one of the things that, no, it never really, alcohol, it's easy to make a case against it. Psychedelics don't get that much heat. I think they're used within the proper setting are great. But it's like, and again, I'm just going off of like people who hit me up about them. And it's like, dude, you really need the building blocks down. Like I don't really believe in just throwing chemicals at a problem, just being like, well, I don't really feel it. Bam. And it's like, and again, if someone's like, no, I sort of got to change my life, that's fine. I'm just going off what's worked for me. And I wanted that to be the case. And it was like, just again, judging on my experience versus like, what I'd prefer to be reality. It's like, dude, sitting down and mapping out my day consciously has had the biggest, most tremendous effect in terms of my overall life quality,
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
And it's like, that's the truth, man. It's like, it's again, and I'm not against that. I'm not saying don't do that. If you feel called towards doing that, go ahead, knock yourself out. I do think it's, if we were able to replace alcohol in large with those as like the societally chosen kind of methods of, inebriation, I think we would have a slightly better setup. But it's like, you got to be careful. There's a lot of, it's easy to get lured into any of these things. When I was younger, I would be like, oh, this is it. If I can be stoned all day. When I'm stoned, I'm smarter. And, and like lock my keys in my car 4 times a week. I'm like, all right, hold on a second. Let me figure something out. So, it's like, this isn't a judgment zone. It's like, do your thing, do whatever you want to do, but just be honest with your experience and let your experience be your guide rather than what you'd rather, be the case. And dude, I have to say, I wouldn't, dude, if you asked me 3 years ago, I would have been like, no, dude, you can't just, again, like when the tricks your mind plays on you, it's like, well, I do kind of more like creative things and I can't be as regimented and structured. Dude, I get more of that kind of work done than ever right now. And if you are trying to go into that kind of realm, it's like, I'll tell you there's not many people who are doing it, or what a lot of people in your realm, if you're in a creative field, aren't doing is organizing their time properly. I guarantee it.
100%. So
like if you can start organizing your time just like 40% better than it is, you have a humongous leg up on, if you're actually trying to do something in a creative realm professionally.
Well, and the rewards are 10 times greater.
Yeah.
I mean, like intentional use of your time and intentional use of your resources, it's ridiculous how quickly the rewards come back.
Yeah. Well, exactly. And the other thing too is like a lot of times, and again, I'm getting maybe a little specific, but it's like, if you feel kind of alienated, you feel kind of disconnected, alcohol especially, or even like, massive or smaller dose of psychedelics, whatever you're doing can give you that, like, I'm in my body feeling, like, I'm in my body, I'm doing it. But dude, it's like, and that's cool. It's just a short-term thing. But if you can do like intentional daily practice of, just being conscious with your time, structuring your day, I think that helps big time. And, like, in terms of like the microdosing stuff, the one thing I will say about that I do think is beneficial. But again, it's like what's kind of driving that is conscious attention, where it's like you can say you're doing like microdosing and, people just go like, oh, I feel better. Awesome. There is a way you can do it where you go like, why do I feel better? What am I doing better? And then the days you're not on that, try to consciously build that into your day. So again, that can work. I'm not like totally being like that sucks, but it's like, I swear to God, out of everything, the conscious attention is maybe the most helpful, and it's free. And, it just takes you focusing a little bit of discipline. So sorry, that's just an aside.
No. And one of the guys, very dishonorable, said, Matt, how do you balance your day planning versus Bayes plans? Great question.
I'm glad you asked, dude. This is something I've done very well with this week. It takes, honestly, so first of all, there needs to be a plan. Again, this is how do you balance your day planning versus Bayes plans. You, first of all, before you ask somebody, like, you need a plan. This is something I learned the hard way because I was demanding a plan without having a solid plan myself. So the step one is like, again, just doing this. This is my little piece of paper I run down to in the morning, and it just tells me what to do. I don't get in my head like, but I don't want to do. I am a little brat, dude. I'll be like, but I want to do this, but I stick to this thing every single day, no matter how I feel, as good as I can. So I have my plan. Once I'm structured, once I'm coming from a place like my day structured, now yours needs to be, not in like a dickish way, but being like, hey man, like I want to make sure you get all this stuff done that you want to do. And it's like, I will literally rearrange my day in any way because, I have the luxury, but I will rearrange my day however possible to make sure that you get your main stuff done. And I make sure that happens. I make sure to get those plans out of her because she'll fight a little bit. She'll fight and be like, oh my God, I don't know. I can't know right now because it all depends on the baby sleep schedule. And it's like, okay, whatever. Just give me a plan that we can at least deviate from. They'll hit you with every. I do the same thing. I didn't want to get. I'm like, so you just got to stay firm. And eventually, in my situation, what would come up would be like, something would happen where she'd want to do something, and all of a sudden she can't because of time. And then that's when you're really like, look, man, like I hate that you're feeling unfulfilled. Like, let's plan this day out. So, and dude, this whole week I've been just totally making sure all of her stuff is done. And then once I know she's good, I'm the time I can do my work now is like 2 hours. That is like so uninterrupted. And I'm not in my head being like, is she mad upstairs? That, dude, I've gotten so much done this week. So I'm glad you asked that, because that was the exact thing I've been working on this week.
Well, I think you dropped some real bombs in there, which was awesome. Yeah, Ray, this is from enemies. I love that you guys love that. I've really never told anybody that, ever, like literally. So I hope you guys can use it. But with great power comes great responsibility. So be careful, because it can send you down a big rabbit hole. But Matt, a couple things you said there. Can we at least have a plan that we can deviate from? Yeah, that's phenomenal. Right, because I can't tell you how many times I've heard it's like, oh, I don't plan because like plans get broken. It's like, yeah, but just test it, and you'll see if you test it that you always come out on top from a plan, even if the plan is deviated from. So that was great. But then the other thing you said was something like, if I remember correctly, what was it? It was I go to my list regardless of how I feel about it, but I do the best that I can. Like those things combined, it's like, yeah, regardless of my feelings, I go to the goals and I work on them with the best of my ability at that given time. Sometimes you don't have the energy, sometimes whatever, but like taking that little micro step, man, those little micro steps adds up over time. And then those little micro steps are the gateway drug oftentimes to complete marathons, or it's like, we all had that experience where it's like, Ray saying like, maybe you don't want to do the push-ups that day. And all of a sudden you do 5. And it's, oh, well, I did 5. Maybe I should do 10. Since I did 10, I'll do 20. And then all of a sudden you get on this momentum. It doesn't happen every time, but it happens enough to really move the needle a significant degree over a course of several months. Yeah, dude. I mean, and that's a huge thing. And real quick too, I saw the, dishonorable. You say you have a newborn. Yeah, dude. And this is what I think Butterly told me. He's like, I think Butterly or Rainey, like just right off the first 3 months. Like your first 3 months, you're sleep deprived. Don't beat yourself up. If you can get stuff done, go for it. But just tell yourself for these first 3 or 4 months, I'm going to be operating at like 20%. And, as soon as you swallow that pill, it just, at least you take that pressure off yourself. But yeah, dude, that whole idea of, and this is what I call shrinking my habits. If like yesterday, I got a lot of work done, but like, say like, on a day where like Wes, you were saying, like, I just don't have the energy. Like I worked out really hard for 2 days in a row. I see the exercise thing. It's like, I just don't have the energy. I failed at this yesterday, but it's like, can I just do like, oh, I don't have the time to write. Well, I'll just write for 5 minutes. Like this is the thing that I swear to God, I don't know what it is or why it works that way. But if I make sure to just like touch that habit every day, just a little bit, it keeps it fresh in my mind. And then it makes me like, oh, I'm excited to do this tomorrow. Because then like you were aware of what you're deficient in. I know like I did really well with the writing yesterday, and a bunch of other things, and, work for Rhomas. I got something done that, is at least, it's a rough draft, so I can go from there. But, sometimes when you go all in on certain areas, an area gets kind of like left out. So now I'm like, I'm going to exercise really hard today and kind of touch those other things a little less and do it like, and that's just balance. Like you're not going to get every single day perfect, nor should you, aspire to. I did aspire to hit everything perfectly this week. But again, it's like, dude, think about my failure now this week rather than just having sat around, played games on my phone, did virtually nothing. Is now like, damn, I missed one workout. Now that's my feeling I'm pissed about, rather than like if I did one workout 4 months ago, I'd be like, oh man, I'm killing it right now. It's awesome. Oh, dude, you must be microdosing right now. You hit on another gem, brother. You said, I just want to touch, my goal is to touch my habits every day. That's such a great way of describing it. Like just go in and touch it. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to do it fully, just touch it. And then dude. I want to clip you saying that up. Just go in and touch it. You don't have to do it fully, just touch it. and Troy said, Wes saying that he expects to get 5% done makes me feel awesome. Yeah, honestly, I'm not even kidding. Like if your expectations are so low, but just like Matt is saying, combining that with just touching the habit, it's amazing actually what you get done. And the cool thing is, and here's kind of the secret, if you narrow down your activity to the essentials, so the 5 to 10 essentials for the day, just getting 1 or 2 or 3 of those essentials done, it's crazy what it does. Because most people, what do they say? It's like they focus on movement rather than actual action, right? So there's constantly in motion rather than like real activity that makes progress. So it's like, if you can, it's amazing what you can get done in an hour. Like, I mean, literally try that. Matt and I talk about it all the time. Like, time block an hour, time block 20, whatever you can handle. 2 hours is optimal. Like, just time block a certain amount of time and just say, I'm going to work on my goals. And I guarantee you get more done in that hour than you would have the entire day, if not the entire week. Because most people are just kind of in sort of being blown around by the winds of chance. And it's like the probability of those winds blowing you in the direction of the exact direction of your goals is little to zero.
Dude, yeah. I mean, that was the bad thing I had when I was younger. Like the whole, like, it'll all work out, like, it'll all work out. And it's like, it'll work out somehow. You might not like it, but it, like, that thinking of like, it'll work out. It's like, nah, man, it's like, if you want a specific outcome, it takes a Herculean effort to get something even remotely close to that. Just by, like you were saying, just the probabilities of all the other stuff that's constantly going on and moving. It's like, dude, it takes it takes an effort that most people would consider almost weird, to be honest.
Yep.
Which is kind of something to be kind of curious about. Dude, I'm like obsessed right now with rewatching all the old Star Wars movies. And I just love the idea.
I've never seen any of them. Are they good?
Oh, dude, they're so fucking, yeah, they're great, man. It just, really? Especially if you're watching them from this perspective. What
gamer and Star Wars? I never knew any of this. How am I finding out?
Dude, I'm telling you, man. It's funny because there's like movies I've never seen. Like, I've never seen Jaws, and everyone's like, "Well, you never seen?" It's like I just never, I just didn't have any interest. I still don't. But the dude, go back and watch Star Wars. People are calling you an alien. Hilarious. Go back and watch Star Wars. Go back and watch. That is a compliment, dude. People call you an alien. That means you're the fucking man. I got called an alien once. I'm actually jealous. I'm not an alien right now. But dude, you go back and watch it, and like, you get into like the Jedi training, because I was using some of that stuff for Psych Null of like just the idea of Jedi training and how it's like, can you? How can I say this? And I use those kind of stories to help me kind of just deal with the fact that, like, when you're on a path, if you're on like a path that you're actually dedicated to, you're going to feel kind of bad here and there. It's like, you're going to feel, let me see. All right. Wes is off the screen for some reason. You're going to feel bad. Like, there's times where, and this is something too, where it's like, you're doing the right thing. You're doing something that you want to do, but you just feel horrible. And it's like, can you weather that while still sticking to the thing you want to do? Or are you just going to, this is what I used to do when I was younger, just throw my hands up in the air and be like, I got to go do something else because I don't like the way I'm feeling. And that whole thing of like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but watching that Jedi stuff pumps me up, because it's like, it just reminds you that, like, the training's grueling. You're constantly going to get pulled by your emotions. And like, if you can just withstand that and just have your, have your mind/eye on like a very specific thing that you're moving towards, and then this enjoy, not just like be obsessed with that, but like enjoy that actual, the process of moving towards that. It's like, I mean, dude, in terms of like looking for meaning in life, it's like, I don't know that there's anything else. And, balancing out being directed towards a thing versus enjoying the people around you. If you can just do both of those things. And then if you're still like, well, this isn't enough, it's like, it's like, well, yeah, that's kind of tough to think about. But at the same time, it's like, maybe that's just something you have to kind of sit with and, wonder about, because it's like, I don't know, that's something I was like kind of insatiable in a lot of ways. But I found that, like I said, once you find the things that you feel like, if you could, maybe sounding corny for a second, but the things you feel like you were put here to do. And it's like, well, how do you know what you were put here to do? Just do a bunch of things, and whatever you do that you can just do for like 4 or 5 hours and be like, holy shit, it's already 3 o'clock.
Yep.
That's a good hint, and it's like, with the things I'm doing now, they're the things I'm like, damn, these are the things I feel like I'm utilizing my full self. I'm losing myself in them. I'm not at a job where I'm like, just like every 30 seconds, like opening up my email and being like, oh, fuck, oh shit. All right. What time is it? All right. Let me go sit on the toilet for 10 minutes. Like, dude, that's a travesty, man. And it's like, and it's a lot of us are there. So it's like, what greater cause and, journey could you be on is escaping that, toward not just escaping, but like moving, figuring out what you want to do and escaping that regular world. Dude, I remember being at jobs and being like, fuck, man, is this what I'm going to be doing forever? Is this, and it's like the idea of like, I remember getting just like one day off or like quitting a job and doing something else. It's like the best feeling, man, of being like, all right, I'm altering my life in a way that's true to me, true to what I want. And I'm like, taking the steps to like shape my reality rather than just like showing up somewhere and complaining every day. It's unbelievable.
You're preaching today, brother. What do they do in the churches?
Yeah. Well, dude, I'm preaching because, like, dude, it's like,
I love it.
I don't mean to be dramatic, but it's like I've been on, my head's been on a swivel since I've been a young man for like, like, how do you do this? What do you do? How do you do this? And I tried all kinds of wild shit to be like, maybe finally I'll be happy with my setup. And it's like, dude, between the act stuff and then the stuff that you kind of put me onto in terms of like organizing your time, I'm like, oh, all I had to do was like sit down and have a little bit of discipline. It's like, Jesus Christ, bro. Unbelievable. I can't not stop talking about it because it's helped me so much.
I'm loving it, dude. Keep making it rain, brother. Dude, so big announcement, if you're cool with it.
Yes.
So we got the scorecard done. First draft, that's ready for everybody. Second draft, that's ready for everybody. Now we just have to figure out how to get it to everybody. So we can, but can I show everybody the scorecard here?
Yeah, hell yeah. I think so we can either do a Google Drive link or screen share it. It won't let you screen share?
Yes, I believe so.
Screen share, because also too is pretty nice. We I got done.
Troy owes me. Troy bet everybody on the Discord that I wasn't going to finish it. Touche. It was good.
Hilarious.
Troy, I'm just playing with you, man. You do not have to pay me.
Pay a charity. Delco Jim wants his money. Delco Jim wants his $15 now. Thank God. Troy, don't make bets, dude. You don't have.
All right, let's see here. Okay, we got this. So it's gonna freak the screen out for a second.
It's all good. I'm excited.
All right, can you guys see the Excel sheet?
Yes, I can. Dude, I will say, first of all, be prepared to be dazzled by Wes's Excel skills. They're something akin to wizardry.
So I try to keep it light, try to keep it simple. But okay, let's walk through a bit. We'll go through quickly, and for those of you listening, I'll try to be as descriptive as possible. Basically, I've got a scorecard here. It's got two components. It's got the scorecard up top, and then it's got the journal down below. So the scorecard up here, and then we can go down and journal. So this is meant to be. Here, let me delete this. So it's not meant to be. So it's one scorecard per week. And then the journal, just put in the entries. So like what I will be doing is, say today is, 10/30, 2020, and then my journal entry from there. And then, a few days from now, I'll put in whatever the date is. So, so that is one of the metrics on the scorecard, as you will see. So anyway, what we have here is measuring 10 different things. It's all fundamental stuff. Again, it's going back to, why do we go to the doctor and they ask us questions that don't seem to be fundamental? At least that's been my experience. So it's like, for instance, they're not asking me for a solid record on how much I sleep, how much water I take, what's my nutrition like, my physical exercise, am I meditating or taking some silent time? So all of these things have really, really if there's any secret to in my opinion, productivity, at least for me, it's these things. I've been measuring these things literally for years. So I'd be super pumped if you guys joined Matt and I doing this. So that way, when we talk about these things, we can say our score. Like, what is your score for the week? Is it A+? Is it A-? Is it B? Is it C? Where are you at? And then the other cool thing is, I try to keep it super simple. So for instance, if you look at the first metric, sleep, did you get at least 8 hours of sleep last night? So you go in on Monday, and here, let me change it to this. So let's just say it's all Monday right now, and the week has not started. So let's just say it's Monday, right? So you go in on there on Monday and you say, okay, last night did I get 8 hours of sleep, right? So I go and I change that, and I change it to 1 is yes and 0 is no. And then the next one is water. Did you have at least half a gallon of water today? The answer is yes. Nutrition, have you eaten at least 4 servings of vegetables? So I did very much what Matt is saying. Just putting the minimum benchmarks out there, just so what Matt said is so that you can touch your habits. So let's just say I did not get my nutrition in for that day. So 0. The next metric is physical body. Have you done at least 30 minutes of exercise today? Examples would be lifting, cardio, yoga, etc. So let's just say I said yes. Okay, perfect. Silence. Have you done at least 5 minutes of silence for the day? That's prayer, meditation, or whatever gets you silent, whatever practice you use. And by the way, you can cross-pollinate. So let's just say, for instance, you did yoga that day. In my opinion, yoga can check off the box of exercise as well as silence/meditative practice. So let's say I did that. Act of love. Have you done at least one act of love today for someone, specifically someone that's important for you, whether it be girlfriend, spouse, or friend? If you don't have any of those, that's fine. Then do it for a stranger. So have you done that? I know that sounds cheesy, but it's incredibly important and impactful for your own productivity and for your own mindset. Your craft. This one is super important to me. Have you worked at least one focused hour on mastering your craft today? And what does that mean? That means literally no distractions on advancing your craft, right? So let's just say you're a writer. So I had, like Matt is. So have you dedicated at least one uninterrupted hour that day towards mastering your craft? Obviously, most people shoot for 8, but I would argue that most people are not really mastering the craft during those 8 hours. They're off doing different things. They're answering different emails. It's like, no, one pure hour to push the needle forward for you and your craft. As a man, I think mastering your craft should be one of your top goals, because that is the lead domino that knocks all of the other ones down, as they say. So if your goal is to feed your family or eventually to feed your family, then you need to become a master of your craft. And I think just the raw data around that is, if you spend, I think it's something crazy, like an extra hour at work. So an extra, let's say like 10% at work gets you an extra 40% in compensation. It's something crazy like that, some sort of asymmetrical distribution of reward. So mastering your craft, strongly considered if you're not doing it already. Okay, journal. Did you write at least one sentence in your journal today? And I put that journal section down there, so every single day, if you guys want to, when you get this file, you can write every single day. And again, this is something that I do terribly at, but it is so, and Matt could probably speak to this way better than I can, but everybody who I talk to who does a journal every day, they speak volumes. They say it's one of their strongest cornerstone habits. So you check that box off. Okay, yes or no, I did my journal. Let's say I did not. And then it says goal focused. Did you focus at least 10 seconds on your goals today? Now, for me, what I do is I read my goals every day. If I don't have a chance, I look at my vision board. So literally all it takes is 10 seconds just to recalibrate your focus back to what is most important for you. So let's say I did that. Okay, great. Right. So there's my score, right? My daily points, 8 out of 10, and I got an A for that. I calibrated anywhere, because of the 80% rule, anywhere 80% above is an A, because we've talked about on the team before, just get things to 80% and then ship it out, right? 80% is good enough, right? Like, get it done, and you'll start to get on a volume. And then, yeah, if you can get 90%, 100%, great. That's an A+. So let's just say that was my pattern for the whole week, right? I got 8 out of 10. So I copy that all over, right? Let's just say I manually filled all of these out. So every single day, every night, preferably, you fill all of these out. Let's say I got 8s, right, every single day. Then I got A's for every single day. My final grade, added all of those up, is an A+. I think, oh yeah. And then at the end of the week, right, you can also see where you performed in terms of that particular habit. So for instance, like I might have a phenomenal week, right? I got an A for the week. I scored 56 points, but my nutrition was complete shit. As you see, like I landed in zeros here. So I got an F there. So these are all things just to see it. And it's not to drop the hammer on us. It's just say, hey, if you're not getting the results that you want in life, typically, I'd say 9.5 times out of 10, it comes down to one of these core habits. Where, like, are you doing the fundamentals? And if you're not, it's actually a relief to see it on a scorecard. At least it is for me, because then I know it's not some crazy thing, some ambiguous thing that I don't understand. It's like, oh, I'm just not getting my sleep, or oh, I'm just not getting my nutrition, or oh, I just haven't been doing enough acts of love to people where I'm not feeling like connected with my circle, if that makes sense. Okay, and then down here, this section is what were your wins for the day/week. So we can record all of them here, and that's what we can share together. This section is crazy important because, especially guys, we were not raised to really celebrate each other and celebrate our own wins. So it's like you have to do the job of recording your wins and then sharing it with everybody. So that way it's like it's a way of rewarding yourself, of being able to stop and turn around saying, oh, I actually did accomplish a lot today, or I did accomplish a lot this week. So that's pretty self-explanatory. And then, like I said, the next part is just the journal. So this is just, I put like, I think, 80 some lines or 60 some lines here. So it's just a journal, like whatever's on your mind. Literally the only commitment, is just try to write one sentence a day. So whether that be like had a shit day or had a great day or whatever it was, or I got my first date or I went on my second date with this girl, whatever that is, like write that stuff out, man. You'll be surprised, because Jordan Peterson says that writing is thinking. And I completely agree with him. So use this as kind of your blank canvas. Now, when you are done with, let's say with that week, then all you have to do is you right click. So this is in Excel. I've got to try to transfer it over to Google Sheets, but as of right now, it's in Excel. You right click on the tab, click move or copy, create a copy, and then click over, and then just title it as the new date, right? So let's just say it's 11/3/2020, right? And then you clear out all the things, you know, recalibrate all of these, and then you got your next week's journal and scorecard.
That's awesome, man.
Troy, in your face, brother.
Well, the other thing too is, you know, with the journaling stuff, it's like, so I do it now, and I just started doing this, and it's super helpful. Where it's like 8 out of 10 days, like 5 out of 7 days, you know, basically during, you know, Monday through Friday, I do the journaling first thing in the morning. So I meditate, and then I journal right out. I journal like just like, you know, a little paragraph, like what did I think about something kind of insightful, or even if I didn't, who cares? Like, what is my plan for the day? Like there has to be like at least 2 or 3 things that I absolutely want to get done. And when I sit down and write that, it just now I have a plan. And once I have a plan, I'm more of kind of like a solid entity in terms of like, you know, balancing between me and my wife. She's like, well, what are you trying to do today? I'm like, boom, boom, rather than being like, oh, I'm just busy, you know, so I'm like, here's what I'm trying to do. So it just everything becomes a little more fluid and kind of workable. But the other thing with writing that helps a lot too, especially, you know, say you do it at the end of the day, like, you know, I'm recapping the day, there's stuff on my mind, stuff bothering me. You know, this is what I've seen in school. There is, when you write a thing, if there's a thing bothering you, even if it's something like horrible from your childhood, if you start to like write that down, you know, according to neurologists, it takes, I think I've said this before, but it takes that thing from like, say, like your amygdala, like, you know, oh my God, I think my girlfriend's going to break up with me or this or that. You're scared. That's in your threat center in your brain. Once you write that, it's a way of, like Wes is saying, writing is thinking. It's also it's a way of processing stuff too. And like when you say processing, meaning like literally taking things from one part of your brain and putting into the part of your brain that's more just like random memory rather than like memory or things that like alert. So when you simply write stuff down, it moves things from your amygdala down to your, I forget, hippocampus, whatever it is. It just stores like stuff that's just general stuff rather than like scary alert, you know, something bad's going to happen stuff. So like, dude, it works so well for the value stuff that I've been working on. There's a lot of like, you know, values writing where like you start, like, I think Wes, you kind of showed me this too, of like, you know, predicting your year. If this was the year that you want to become more fully you know, what would that look like? What would you do? What would that entail? And like actually talking about actionable items you know, and then it's just like, just simply then try to do those things. But yeah, dude, I'm fucking the scorecard rules, and I'm super excited. Once I say, I don't want to spaz and it's not done yet. So I don't want to just be like, here it is. So I'm going to finish it today. And then by next week on Monday, we'll have that. We'll bust that thing out, dude. And I'm like super stoked. That's a really good combination.
Hell yeah, man. Absolutely. So finally done. And yeah, it'd be cool if we can use both of those in combination. And then it's a quick way and precise way of checking in. What was your score? Yeah. Right. Where'd you land? And it makes you acknowledge, and you can see the blemishes there, not as a negative thing, but saying, okay, well, that's where I can improve. And dude, sleep, like I only got 4 hours sleep last night. And I can tell you that it's a world of difference, man.
Oh yeah.
I'd be curious to see what happened if all of us guys, if we got the full amount of sleep that we're supposed to every day, like just for a full week.
Dude, I got my full 8 this week because I was gone all last weekend, you know, like in hotels and doing late shows. The one of my things, you know, when I was journaling earlier this week, it's like one of my main focuses this week is simply sleep. That's like, you know, out of all the other stuff, I'm just making sure to sleep well. And you know, it's like I went to bed a little later than I thought I would, but instead of getting up, I was like, I got to get up and start doing stuff. I was like, I'm just going to get my sleep. And dude, I feel pretty wonderful.
Oh, dude, you know, Francisco just said that he averages 4 or 5 hours sleep a day. I'd love to get somebody on here now, if you're cool with it, Matt. Maybe talking to Francisco or somebody about that topic, or about whatever topic you guys want to talk about. But that because I used to be the same way. I used to get 4 to 5 hours sleep when I was in New York, working in New York, and I could tell, I thought I could handle it, But then as soon as like somebody convinced me to get a full week's worth of sleep, I did it. And I was like, holy, this is how I've been feeling. Like I didn't realize how bad I felt until I had the contrast.
Yeah,
so
dude,
it's pretty amazing.
I mean, dude, honestly, it's you know, again, it's like you're sleep deprived. You're like, I feel like shit, and then there's a world full of messages that are like, try this. Oh, you try this thing, try this pill, try this thing. And it's like, yeah, dude, get 8 hours of sleep. I was singing some song today, but when me and West came on, it was like, I'm just sitting in my room like Jimmy cracked corn, just like so much energy. My brain's just spitting out stupid songs.
Jimmy cracked corn.
Whatever. I forget what I was singing, like Oh Susanna or something stupid. All right, let's get Francisco on. There's also another question too I want to get to in terms of is it too early to ask how you guys plan fun? Because I think that's important too.
That is a great great question.
No, absolutely. So
yes, we have to tackle that one. That is spot on, sir.
Do you want to pull Francisco up first and talk some sleep?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'm gonna pop him up, and then that is important. And again, it was something I scoffed at forever. Like planning fun, just have fun. What up, Francisco?
What up, boys?
Francisco, what's up, brother?
So what's up with the sleep, dude? What's up with the sleep situation? Give me the brief rundown. What's the barrier to sleep, or like what's the reason for not sleeping?
All right, so pretty much, son is 3 years old. He wakes up at 6:30, and that's a late day. Usually wakes up 6 o'clock, 5:45 every day.
Damn.
And then
what time do you go to sleep?
Me? I usually try to get to sleep around 10 or 11. But that's just because I'm like shot. Like I can't anymore. 10, 11, I'm done. And then he wakes up, and then like I'll get up at 2, go to the bathroom or something. That just messes me up. So then everyone once he wakes up, everyone else wakes up. So it's crazy over here. Yeah, man. So, and also another thing is like I never see my wife. So on days that I'm off, we try to spend like the most time we can, and these kids don't sleep until 9 o'clock. Like they're wired all day. They go to sleep at 9. So me and my wife try to spend a couple hours together, not to fall asleep right away. So we're usually up to like 12, 1 o'clock. And then, I know it sucks, but like we never see each other. So like that's the main thing, So, and then the kid wakes up at 5:30, 6:30. And it starts. Got to get him ready for school. Got to get him ready for school. It's crazy. And it's just like that every day. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a motherfucker. Excuse me.
And then on days, I left the room. On days that I do work, I have to go to sleep at like 5 in the afternoon, and I'll sleep till like 10, and then I get up and I go to work. And I work overnight. So like I get home 8 o'clock. I'm already starting my day with the kids. And I try to get a nap in during the day, but like it's impossible because it's like I gotta work in a workout sometime there, and then the kids are done with school before you know it.
Yeah.
Them up. And then that cycle. That's my work week cycle, and then there's my days off cycle. And it's just like not enough hours in a day,
For sure.
So, what are your thoughts on that, Matt?
Well, I mean, does your wife get enough sleep, or is she sleeping pretty minimally too?
Pretty minimally because she has to get everyone ready for school. So she wakes up with everyone else, and she gets probably less sleep than I do because she gets home, she watches after all the kids are sleeping. She wants to unwind, watch TV, have a couple of glasses of wine, and so she definitely doesn't get her 8 hours of sleep.
So this is just a suggestion too, because that you do have like that's a tough pack schedule, dude. And it's that's commend you for doing all that. That's pretty tough. So possibly what could be done, because this is a nice little trick for going to sleep. So spending the quality time perhaps can be scheduled as like setting up some sort of date night thing where you guys can go spend time where you're doing it, you're not tired, and then maybe doing every other night where it's like you come home, you hang out, you get tired one day, fine. Then one night a week, just say, look, when you come home, let's just cuddle and go to sleep. And you chuck in the cuddle. I feel like that will be hard to resist. Come into bed, we'll just cuddle, lay down, talk a little bit, and pass out. Exactly. Yeah. That might help too, because that is quality time, and you guys will wake up the next morning like, oh shit, this is pretty sweet. Even just one day a week. And again, making up for that, because I understand what you're saying. You don't want to just to stop seeing each other, but by offsetting that with we'll plan something in advance and go do just something little, whatever it is.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, Francisco. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Matt.
No, my wife constantly, like, she'll just look for like free stuff, whatever's going on, and we'll just go, like, if they're like playing a movie outside or something, we'll just go do stuff like that. So,
Right.
Yeah, dude, I completely agree with Matt. That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm wondering if there's a way where you can increase the depth of the quality of the interaction while decreasing the frequency, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
For instance, like having a super quality Friday night date night, and that might help compensate. Because I've been in the same exact situation, like where it's just like, life is chaotic, and and you want to fit in the quality time, but it's like there's only so much time in the day. Totally get it. So there's two things. Number one, I agree with Matt. Can you decrease the frequency of like the 2-3 hour hangouts at night, and say like, hey babe, let's just try this for a week? And then there's a phenomenal book called 8 Dates by John Gottman. It's one of the best books on dates I've ever seen, but it gives you like a framework, and you can actually just look up a summary online. So it'll take you 10 minutes to read. And it talks about like really having a great date, but like getting in some really quality stuff. And I found that when I've done that, especially for women, they get like 1,000 points out of 100, like for that like super qualitative date. And it helps overcome me working for the last 6 nights in a row where I haven't seen her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, cause honestly, dude, like I'm fighting, and Matt and I are fighting for you. Like it's there's always going to be reasons, right? As to why the schedule's busy, and we can all relate to that, and we can empathize with it. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's kind of like going to the gym. Your body doesn't care about your feelings or how busy you are. It's like you either eat well and go to the gym, or you don't. Right. So if you want the result, do you know what I mean? So that's why as guys, we got to say like, okay, man, hey, I'm just looking out for you. It's like, is there a way to increase this just a tiny bit? And if you're having trouble with the quantity, I'd wonder what would happen if you worked on the quality a little bit. So for instance, like, I know this sounds weird, but do you use an eye mask at all?
No.
Okay. So dude, this was a game changer. Matt and I both use the same eye mask. I just sent a link in the comment section to you guys. It's like, I don't know, 10 or 12 bucks, but like even that alone. So it's like at the end of the day, if it's still hard for you to get 6 plus 7 plus 8 hours of sleep, let's try increasing the quality of the sleep. Eye mask is a very simple way of doing that, like super simple way. So that would be my, and by the way, it's going to be hard just like anything else. But dude, I'm telling you, if you can eke out like 2-3 nights in a row of 8 hours sleep, you'll see exactly what we're talking about. You're a different animal at that point.
I mentioned in the chat before, like the other day, I banged out sick for work, and I just went right back to sleep, and I got like over 10 hours of sleep, and I woke up the next day. I felt awesome.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's the thing. I think the first thing, because you know what to do, right? You know, it's like the answer is get 8 hours of sleep. Like every study shows that 8 hours of sleep plus is optimal. I was just listening to an interview with Matthew McConaughey and Joe Rogan a couple of days ago, and that guy gets 9.5 hours of sleep a night, and he swears by it. LeBron James, who's probably the biggest freak of nature who's ever played basketball, he says he gets about 9 to 10 hours of sleep a night. So the point being, it's like we know the results that can be given from that. It's just a matter of how do we work it into our schedule. And I have found that most of the time, it's just putting your foot in the ground, saying, "Nope, I'm going to do it." Right, and then trying. You're going to fail a million times, but dude, eventually, like you said, when you got those 10 hours of sleep, you're a different human.
Right.
Different human.
True. And also too, it's like, it's also good just, say for some reason it's just, the schedule is packed for the next week or so, it's not working out, and again, I don't know what happens when you get sleep deprived. I get incredibly irate and like angry and like I just snap. Like if I'm sleep deprived, like, me and my wife will bicker. The thing that's helped, like I said, maybe this is just a sleep phase for the kid. Maybe he'll start sleeping. I'm sure he'll start sleeping in later than that. Sometimes if all else fails, it's good just to be mindful of the fact that you are extremely sleep deprived. So if the anger starts flaring up and tempers start to rise, it's good to be like, I've done this before, where it's like, look, we're both really sleep deprived. Like, it feels really personal and we're attacking each other. I'm not saying that's your situation. That's been mine traditionally. So it's just helpful when you are sleep deprived to first just know that you are, because it becomes such an ingrained thing that you go like, oh, I'm just used to this. And it's like, no way. It's like, you can't get used to it. You're just sleep deprived. And you just gotten used to the bad effects of lacking sleep. But it's like, if you start getting more sleep. So it's like, when all else fails, just be mindful of the fact that you guys are both incredibly sleep deprived and working very hard. So, if things start to seem like, just, take a breather and be like, this will kind of pass.
stop and then just like, you know, take everything in for a second. It's like we both need to chill out because like obviously we're not getting enough sleep.
Exactly, dude. Yeah, you guys are under a serious load, dude. Like, you know, and now, you know, again, like I've said before, commending you on being able to do that and hold it together, because that's like, you know, that takes definitely a certain type. So it's like that's awesome.
Do you guys have a TV in the bedroom?
No. That's my one thing, man. She wants one, and I'm like, nah.
Hold out, man. Yeah, hold out. I'm fighting that fight as well. Never, dude. I hate having a TV in my room. So yeah, hold out on that.
But then do you like, when do you go into the bedroom? Like, do you stay up and watch TV until?
Yeah. So like we'll go into the bedroom once, like, you know, we'll watch TV until, you know, 12. And then sometimes I get so tired, I'm like, I'm going to bed, and I'll leave. I go to my bedroom and she stays up for like another hour and watches TV, and then she eventually comes into the bedroom.
Dude, I'm going to throw out something that sounds super weird, but one of the best books I've ever read on relationships and marriage is called 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work by John Gottman. It's like the Bible for marriage, hands down. I'm actually looking forward to getting married so that I can use the book. I'd be super curious to see what happened. He talks about building love maps in there. I'd be super curious to, and I'd love to hear your feedback if you try it. What happened if just for 3 nights, or even just one night, whatever your wife can tolerate, just say, we're not going to watch TV at all. We're going to go into the bedroom, you know, turn on low light, candlelight, whatever, and just talk and like learn about each other. And what I have found, I've done that several times with girlfriends, and I have found that, number one, I get tired pretty quickly, right? Like, let's say within 45 minutes to an hour, just because the energy starts to decrease a little bit, you start to get a little more cozy and so on. So I'm wondering what would happen if you substituted that thing, the habit of watching TV for a couple hours a night, to just like, okay, hey babe, let's just go into the bedroom. We're just going to talk. I just want to just talk about our day, whatever. It doesn't matter. But in that book, 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work, they give you a bunch of questions to ask, and it's super cool. I wonder what would happen if then, and you guys, I'm going to guess, would probably even doze off naturally rather than saying like, okay, I'm tapping out. Exactly. Yeah.
Especially the nature. I don't know if you guys are watching the news or not, but yeah, like you turn on the TV to wind down. It's like the world is ending, and you're like, all right, time for bed. Let's fucking relax and go to sleep. But yeah, man, that's I think that helps a lot. And yeah, it's funny. Brittany actually, my wife just got a couples journal, and all this stuff. I've grown up so like that's so stupid. I'm not doing that, and now it's like, you know, that's something we want to start implementing. Of like, there's this book where there's like questions for both of you both fill it out, and then it's like both in this book, and like, you know, being able to kind of unite under some sort of shared vision, I think helps big time. And we actually, and it's just so funny because I've been putting this off forever. It's something I knew that would like, again, like out of the normal activities, we do the same thing. Every night we get everything done, and me and her watch like a TV show or like watch a little bit of a movie. And I was going to start breaking that up with like, because I can play guitar and she has one. So she can sing really well. So we're going to just like find things we can do. Like just like I'll play and let her sing. And it's crazy as it sounds or as weird as it sounds. And the goal is for us to go do an open mic. So
sorry guys, I got to bounce. I got to go back to class.
Later, bro.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, man.
Sorry, I shouldn't have. That wasn't maybe not the appropriate time for my open mic visions, but yeah. But it's just like that idea of getting out of that, like, you know, work's done, time for TV. It's like, you know, that's fun. Like, again, we're watching all these movies. It's fun, but it's like, you know, can you mix it up? Can you use some kind of thing that you know how to do that like is just you and that person? That's a little more intimate. Yeah,
and the TV thing, I know a lot of people are going to hate me for this, but like the TV thing, I think is a great tool, but should be used sparingly because that's like the default mode. And then all of a sudden, I just got lucky because I grew up with one TV in the house and my mom dominated that thing. So it's like, it was either Oprah or basketball. You know, that was it's like either watch Oprah or go outside and play basketball or read or something. So I got lucky. I never got on that habit, but dude, I've seen families. It's just like 4 hours a night.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not judging at all, but it's like, holy shit. Like, yeah, it's hard to make progress on your relationship or something if you're just kind of turning off the brain and just like turning on, you know, Paradise Island or whatever the hell, or Love Island, I think was the last TV show I walked by somebody watching. And that's just insane. But yeah, I would wonder what would happen if you can segment some of that time, or, you know, Francisco can segment some of that time and saying, hey, we're just going to watch TV on Thursday and Friday nights or Friday night and Saturday night, you know, something like that. I think it's a really game changer. I would love to hear back from him to see if he just experiment with 1 or 2 nights and just to see what would happen. So yeah, man. But he's got a hell of a task. I mean, I commend him as well for being able to keep all of those balls in the air, juggling them. That's a hard thing, man.
Jesus Christ, man. So here's the final question I saw from in the little question section. Is it too early to start, or is it too early to ask how you guys plan fun? No, I think, like I said, I think I was just starting to whatchamacallit. That was one of the things. Like, this is, and there's different levels of fun. You can just, like, we're gonna go out, we're gonna do this, and, like, dude, I find that, like, the fun, planning the fun is what kind of gives flavor to the whole week. Like, you're doing all your stuff, and you're like, oh, and I'm gonna go do this awesome thing I planned. We're gonna try this new place, or again, the idea I had with Brittany is, like, let's stop the TV. The TV is a bit of an automatic habit at nighttime, and it's usually for just like an hour. But it's like, let's break one or two of those nights up where we're like, I'll show you how to play guitar, and she likes to sing, and then it's like, it's not even just for me, because I'm honestly dreading doing this on some level, but I think it'll be kind of good where it's like, I'm going to bring, because I do stand up all the time, I do all this stuff, and it's fun, but I've kind of gotten over, like, the thrill of doing kind of live stuff. But to, like, introduce her to that and let her go sing in front of people, and I just have to strum a couple chords, dude, that'll be, and it's like something I would have been like, that's so fucking lame 4 years ago, but it'll be something I'm doing for her that I really think will get, like, I brought it up to her last night and her eyes almost popped out of her head. Like, I don't like being around people like that. Like, I honestly kind of, like, curse the fact that I'm doing stand up, because it takes so much out of me to, like, be on stage. Like, I naturally would rather be in my basement reading and writing. That's what I like to do. She like loves being in front of people. So it's like, that'll be fun for us to go play like a song, like a regular open mic, and dude, so it's like, there's, and again, it's like, I happen to know how to play guitar. So it's like, I can do that, but everyone has things like, can you draw? I know a ton. I can't draw to save my life. Some people can draw. Like, can you do something like that together? Can you, anything, dude, a fucking coloring book, dude, you'd be surprised.
Dude, well, first of all, you're an animal, right? Like, and a lot of guys, and other people know this, like, Matt can not only play guitar, he can sing, he can write, he can dance, right? Like, do all, it's just crazy. It's so.
I've lost my dancing abilities, dude.
That's not true. I think he's got a little mental block right now. He's got a little performance anxiety.
I told my wife, the worse racial tensions get, the worse at dancing I get. Until things resolve, I refuse to dance. But no, I do have a mental block. That's going to be a big one, dude. That's going to be a big one. Next wedding I'm at, I'm a dancing machine. I've gotten in my head about that. It's like, I'm going to definitely just get out of that. That thing of like, no, I just don't do this anymore. It's like, I refuse. I'm going to just go out and do it and just let my experience, again, just let your experience be your guide.
ASB just challenged you to a Vogue battle. And I think I would assume that he's serious, knowing what I know about ASB.
We do need to have that.
Oh my God, that'd be a great episode. But dude, no, Matt, you just nailed the whatever. I hit the nail on the head, dude. 4 hours of sleep, messed up. It's amazing, actually. So I do what's, for me, what I call like a level 10 exercise. If you're struggling in an area, then you go and you ask yourself, and you just write it out. What is my level 10 in this area? So, for instance, fun. Like, what are the level 10 things? Like, the maximum amount of fun that I can have. What are those things? And Matt, you just nailed it, right? Like, it didn't took you 2 minutes to think of that, I assume, right? Like, what would be awesome for my wife and I to do? You can come up with 100 more items that far surpass watching TV, right? It's just, it requires a little bit of imagination and thinking, and then planning it out, and then doing it. Like, that to me sounds amazing. Like, that you would then go and build something with your wife, and it's the same amount of time. I mean, think about how much. I mean, you guys don't watch a ton of TV, but just imagine, right? Like, if you just split the time of TV, and I'm guessing, what do you think? You watch probably 5 hours TV a week, 10 hours, something like that?
Yeah, just about that. Probably about like an hour a night. If we get, some nights we don't get to, but it's usually about an hour to, like, if we start early, like an hour to watch like a movie. So, and
how long does it take to typically, like, you'd say, master a craft, or not even master it, just get somewhat fluid in a craft like guitar? Like, how much practice do you think per day?
I mean, if you do like an hour and a half a day, for sure. It's one of the people either like it or you don't. Like, I did it when I was young, so like I had like just nothing but free time, but it was something that I was like, it was, again, that was another thing that I could do in just like 4 hours would pass, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I can tell you that for salsa dancing and for other styles of dancing, all I had to do was literally 10 to 30 minutes a day. Yeah. And then you very quickly get to a level of competence where you can go out and have infinite fun. So every time I go on dance now, it's for like 4, 5, 6 hours. And the guy was asking, I forget who it was, but asking, how we plan our fun. And the first step, in my opinion, is write down the most fun things for you. Like, what is your best guess? And I'd be willing to guarantee you that you're not doing, if you're like me, you aren't doing any of them before. Does that make sense? Like, maybe you do one every once in a while, versus when you have a list there, you can look at that list. Okay, well, I've got an hour in my schedule to have some fun. Right. I know that sounds too clinical, but dude, it's so much better than saying, oh, let's go watch some TV because.
Oh, dude. Again, it's one of those things where, like, dude, if you're not thinking about this stuff and consciously planning it, there's people who are doing it for you, and they're just profiting off of, your attention and, the fact that you'll just slide right into the thing. I mean, I do it myself. So it's like, and how, just think of the difference, dude, between you sit down, you watch TV. It's cool. But if you think about it from a woman's perspective, it's just another unspectacular night. Dude, if you secretly sign up for like just some like ballroom dancing, something, just sign up for dance lessons that go for like a month. You don't even have to be good. You suck. They expect you to suck. They'll get the joy of watching you fumble around, and they get to tell their friend, dude, it's like, it's the exact difference that like, it's like the lightning bolt that separates just like a normal boring relationship that kind of meanders and drifts off versus like something that kind of like ties two people together and, makes them enjoy themselves and grow. That's, it's kind of, again, I don't want to go do an open mic with my wife. It's like, I people make fun of me. It'll be this, it'll be that. But it's like, dude, I just don't care. It's like, it'll be so beneficial for our relationship. It'll be something that I think will check a box off on her list. That's like a kind of one of those deeper boxes. So like, cause I do think she'd be good in like the performance, arena. So it's like, just usher her towards that. But it's like, sometimes you got to help people do stuff like that.
Dude, I'm so pumped to see you guys do that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, dude.
So with that being said, man, anything else? You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Let's how'd the week go? Hit me with the week.
Dude, so I mean, if you guys probably noticed, I don't really talk about a lot of finance stuff on here just because because of licensing, I can't. Like, anytime I mention finance stuff, I got to put the whole entire episode through compliance. So it's like, but I can share the wins. So this week we probably brought in another I think 2-3 million in verbal commitments for assets under management, and that's what the goal that I have on here is to get to $1 billion. So we just hit 205 million somewhere in there. So we grew a ton as an office over the last handful of years. But then I say to the staff, it's like, now we want to get to $1 billion. And they're like, what? So that's kind of the North Star goal, So each week we're getting closer and closer to that. So this week was a big week. But then honestly, dude, one of the things I'm super, super pumped about is getting that damn scorecard done. Like, that has been, I'm so happy that it got that done. And I'm super pumped to do it with you guys. And then still working on the video and everything. It's going to take me another few weeks, but I'm like even more pumped for that, and Matt, I still have to review the file that you sent over to me yesterday, but I don't know, man, it's just a phenomenal week. Gym was spot on. I think on Saturday I spent 11 hours at the gym, at least last Saturday, and I plan on doing something very similar. Today I'm going on a hike with a client. So it's just been a phenomenal week. And Matt and I are in a weight loss competition, and I think as of this morning I hit 167 pounds, I think, something like that. And I started out the competition at 180, something like that.
You kind of broke away. We were doing, yeah, you definitely broke away and started losing a lot. That was pretty tight. I got down from I think I was at like 197, 198. I'm down to like 188, so pretty happy.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, everybody's crushing it. At some point we'll have to open up the men's weight loss competition to everybody. But for sure. So yeah, man, super looking forward to this weekend. And going to a farmer's market tomorrow that I haven't been to in a while, and then another hike. And yeah, man, I'm just pumped. I'm so pumped.
Awesome,
and
I'm
going to get some sleep.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, definitely get your sleep. I had so this week was nice, man. I was going for perfect habit score, and then yesterday
was Matt. Do you mind if I interrupt? I'm so sorry.
Please.
And for the guys in the comments, please let's share your wins. What were the wins for the week? So sorry,
Matt. Absolutely, and they've actually been. I've been seeing them. They've been flowing in.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
A bunch of them.
Yeah.
So there's So this week, one of my things was like, I want to actually get perfect my days, have so I don't miss anything, even if I just do something for a little bit. First 3 days, on a total roll. Then yesterday I didn't do the exercise, and I actually did get my sleep. I just went to bed a little later, but I slept in. So yeah, I missed exercise yesterday, but again, it's like, dude, So all that aside, whatever, that still was one of my best weeks I've ever had. I did the first draft of the value kind of habit, like, how do you get habits? How do you decide what habit you want? How do you make them meaningful to you that you want to do them? How do you help people engage in a self-chosen direction? So I've done like a good amount of research on that, which actually lined up with the psych stuff. So I kind of killed two birds with one stone. So I got the first draft done of this like value into like finding your values and turning them into habits and actionable items thing. So I'm happy that should be out on Monday. I got 4,000 words done from the book. Happy about that. I have 2 more workouts remaining. I'll definitely do those. Didn't get my perfect habit score. Fair. The psych learning modules, I was going for 2. So the value habit map, it is kind of one of them because I'll be able to use it for both and then just kind of tweak them for the different purposes. So I have, if I can get 1 more of those done today, I'll be on par. And so I pretty much almost got everything done, honestly, except I didn't hang my pull-up bar yet, and I didn't do my my stretching. So,
stretching me, yeah, it's a tough one to feed in there, but it's a game changer, man.
I know, dude. I gotta add it because I'm tight. So,
I've actually heard that like 5 minutes of stretching is better than 50 minutes of 5 minutes of stretching every day is better than 50 minutes of stretching once a week.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, I listened to somebody who broke down the science to me. And it was great. So it's like, cause I'm the same way. It's like, I got to go to a full yoga session and it's an hour, but it's like, no, dummy. It's like, if you can't get to yoga that day, just do 5 minutes. And apparently it works wonders. So I'm still not on that track yet, but it's a good reminder.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to add that in. I might start trying to couple that with meditation, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. So. It's nice. Habit stacking, and being able to to combine habits to check off multiple things on the scorecard is spot on. And yoga does a lot of that. For sure.
Well, hell yeah, dude.
All right, brother.
All right, man.
Awesome. Great seeing all you guys. We'll see you on Monday.
All right, dudes.